Ohio State's up by 7 points, 14-7. Um, Believe in Buckeye podcast. My man Brian Brown is doing. He's in the studio today. He's doing the Spectrum One News post game show here in Columbus, Ohio. But it was a good half. Ohio State got off to a semi fast start, shot themselves in the foot a couple of times with penalties, slowed down that offense a little bit. Texas is hanging around, and this is, if you're Texas, this is what you wanted to do. You go back, you watch the Michigan game from this year. Shoot, you watch the Michigan game from last year, um, and then you watch the last two games. And the reality is the best approach seems like, slow the game down, establish the run. I mean, maybe you can run the ball, maybe you can't, but eliminate the explosives. Force Ohio State to drive down the field and prove that they can do that and score time and time again. In order to do that, you can't have hands to the face. You can't have personal fouls. You can't have holding calls. You can't shoot yourself in the foot. But if they get explosive plays, they never get. There's no opportunity to do any of those things. So Texas has, I thought, done a really good job executing the game plan. And it's honestly, it's the game plan Notre Dame lives by as well. Like that's their approach. I think a little bit more aggressive defensively, but the same way they're gonna, if Ohio State's fortunate to move on, um, they're gonna commit to Jeremiah Smith and give him different looks, and that's what Texas is doing. I think Ryan Day and Chip Kelly really need to figure out how to still get Jeremiah Smith involved. I mean, they tried a little bit with the screen type plays, which I thought was a good. I mean, it was it looked like the play was blown up, but he still got 5, 6 yards, and that's what type of player he is. Like they got to get him moving more across the field, shallow crossers, um, you know, um, deep crossers, etc. 7 cuts, getting them in and out. Just because you put two on a player, especially a player of Jeremiah Smith's caliber, doesn't mean they take him away. I mean, you want to take what the defense gives you. That's what Carnell Tate has to get involved, and he's gotten involved early. He had the big drop um, for the touchdown on the slant, but that didn't ultimately hurt Ohio State because they were still able to score on that drive. So you want to get him involved. Obviously, you want to get the ball to Emeka Ibuka. But look, you got a nuclear weapon in Jeremiah Smith, and you want to be smart about it. You don't want to force it. But there's some plays you can draw up. They put two on him. You got that safety, I think Tate at times, who's to his side, who's helping out. He's over top. He's inside. Hey, get those two guys a double move, and let's see what happens. Um, I don't think I think they did try to. They had one play where he ran, across the field. I thought Texas was in pretty decent coverage. Well, Howard put the ball on the money, in my opinion, and Jeremiah Smith just couldn't come down with it because of his range. Even if you got two guys there, um, if there's just a little bit of space, he can just go up and get it, and that's what they tried to do. And look, I thought Will Howard has played a really good half. Has been really accurate, even on the incomplete passes. I mean, those balls, they're getting two hands on the ball, and these aren't easy catches. Um, but these are some of the catches that you got. These are the plays you got to make. And Texas is gonna live with the fact that if we got guys in the area, we got guys in position, and they make plays. Hey, you tip your hat, and they just got to keep making those same plays. And I think they've done a good job. What has been a little bit of a challenge is running the ball. Um, Texas sitting with two high safeties. Um, there hasn't been a ton in terms of being able to run the ball, which you know, I mean, they got to be able to run. But I think what we saw at the end of the half, that explosive screen pass for a touchdown, you need more of that. More passes to the running backs. If you're gonna drop those safeties and they're gonna sit deep and all that stuff, there's a lot of space. Get those guys in space. Get those guys in space. So we'll see how this second half goes. I feel good. They come out of half with the ball. Ohio State has been a pretty good third quarter team all year. This is the time to continue to be a pretty good third quarter team. So we'll see. We'll see. Let me see here. Yeah. So gonna get back to it. Buckeyes, Texas. Texas has, in my opinion, played a pretty good game outside of a big drop by one of their receivers. But they've played cleaner, less penalties. Ohio State needs to kick this game, kind of bust this game open a little bit. We saw a little bit of that with Travion Henderson with the big play, super explosive. Travion Henderson is key. If they're gonna commit two guys to Jeremiah Smith, and they're gonna be concerned about Abuka and Cornell Tate, etc., get Travion Henderson in space versus linebackers and make him, he's probably the best player in space in college football. Get him in space, force these guys to tackle Travion Henderson in space. That seems like a formula for success for this team. We'll see the adjustments they make in the second half.